Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at r/BestofRedditorUpdates, where this person's ex has started coming sniffing around again after they said they were not wife material. Funny how they like to do that, isn't it? So if you want to get particularly annoyed at some random man on the internet, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. I would really appreciate it, So this post was shared to the r/BestofRedditorUpdates subreddit by Lucy Aria Rose. And the title for this one says, My 27F ex 26M dumped me in January after 9 years together because he didn't think I was wife material. Now he reached out wanting to talk because he needs to get something off his chest. Oh, goody. Can't wait to hear what that is. I'm sure it's reasonable. So it was originally posted in Am I the Butthole and r/advice, spoilers and trigger warnings, so infidelity and stalking. Oh, it's this word again. Schadenfreude. No, Freude? Schadenfreude. Yeah, that. X has his just desserts, but it's still creepy. Oh, goody. So this was originally posted April 8th, 2025, so quite a recent one. Title, My 27F ex 26M dumped me in January after 9 years together because he didn't think I was wife material. Now he reached out wanted to talk because he wants to get something off his chest, and I don't know why he's doing this, or if I should meet him. Usually the answer I like to go with is no. They are an ex for a reason. Leave them in the sin bin. I was with my ex, who I will call Nate, because if I'm being honest, mine as betraying a friend, I was a Cassie. Huh? I don't get it. Oh, editors know, I believe this is a Euphoria TV reference. I don't watch it, but that's what Google says. This has no bearings on the story. Oh, okay. Cool. Because I don't watch like a lot of series or anything. I'm like a book girl or an anime girl. And if I watch anything that's actually serious with real life people in it, it's got to be really good to tickle my pickle. Oh, and I also really like watching cooking on YouTube too. Because I just love food. I like watching people make it. What can I say? Back to the post. I don't want to go too much into the details, but for the last 9 years, I lost myself to Nate. He was my world. Everything I did was for him. I helped him through depression, keep his grades up, even worked 2 jobs so he could focus on college when his parents disowned him for nearly 3 years because they didn't agree with the major or college he chose. Bear in mind, I also was a college student. Honestly, what is it with like the whole thing of basically being the person that people come to fix themselves and then move along? I got told once by a counsellor that that's what I'm like. I'm like, what was the wording she used? I'm a shelter for the like emotionally broken. And I was like, I feel like that was actually way more offensive than it sounded. When his parents started talking to him again and started to financially support him, we moved into a new apartment. Nate said he wanted me to quit my job. I didn't. Okay, there's a lot of punctuation missing, so if the flow as I'm reading doesn't sound quite right, I do apologize. I'm kind of having to make up my own flow. Because he said it was his turn to take care of me. For 16 months, everything was great. He spoiled me. Then I noticed he was more interested in his new friends. At times, he ignored me completely. Back in December, he did a 180, and he love-bombed me the whole month. He really went out of his way to make Christmas magical for me. I honestly believed he was going to propose on January the 2nd. Okay, so normally they do this when they're sticking their wick in someone else. Like, just a little hint to anyone who all of a sudden their partner starts being real friggin' nice. That may be why. He made me my favourite dinner and made this speech about me being his first love, how I've been there since high school. I kept thinking any minute now he's going to ask me to marry him. Oh, and we know what's coming, and I don't like that for OP. But no, he dumped me. As his speech went on, my world fell apart, and as much as he tried to sugarcoat it, he basically said, "You were a good girlfriend, but that's what you will always be to me, a girlfriend. I don't see you as my wife, or the mother of my children, blah, 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 blah. You served your purpose, now I don't need you anymore, blah, blah, blah. I need someone on my level, blah, blah, blah. You're a gold digger." What a cheeky swine. blah, blah, blah. I'll give you 30 days to move out. So he tried to do a shit sandwich. That's what he tried to do. I give you a little bit of sprinkling of something nice, then bam, the bad stuff. And then, what's he going to say on the end to make it less hurtful? Which it never does, by the way. What an awful way to deliver the news that you want to break up with someone. I couldn't speak as he stared at me, looking for a response. I think this lasted 20 minutes before he said he'd sleep in the guest room and then left. Strangely, I didn't cry or get angry. I just ordered cardboard boxes online, then went to bed. The next day, I waited for him to leave the apartment before I left my room, and then I called my boss and begged really, if I could transfer anywhere. She told me there wasn't anything, but if something came up in my department, she'd consider it. I then reached out to everyone I knew that wasn't also Nate's friend for a place to stay. My cousin invited me to stay in her spare room for as long as I needed, and I could move in straight away, so that was amazing. In the 4 days it took me to pack my stuff and move out, I didn't see or speak to Nate. I doubt he even noticed. No, because he's probably one of those that's so self-involved, he doesn't notice anything further than his own bastard nose. I didn't trust myself at the time to ignore a "you up" text, so I blocked him and everyone close to him. Even changed my email to make sure he couldn't reach me. Absolutely spot on. Well done, because a lot of people don't do that and they absolutely should. For those reasons that OP said entirely, the not being able to ignore a "you up" text when you're still in the throes of grieving your relationship. The first night at my cousin's was the night everything hit me. I think I cried every night for the first month. I honestly felt like crap. I thought about what Nate said over and over again, and it made me feel so low. Like I was nothing. He only stayed with me because I was just there. But thankfully, my cousin sent for my mum, other cousins, and real friends to give me an intervention, which I badly needed. I believe that first month I wouldn't have made it without my cousin. I am so glad you had that cousin in your life. My goodness, what a good person. I'm still healing and waiting on that job transfer because I feel like if I'm not in the same city as Nate and I have a place of my own, the fresh start would do me the world of good. I thought by now I'd be a distant memory for Nate, but shockingly, he sent flowers to my job today for my birthday, which was on Sunday. Apparently, he went to my parents' house looking for me too, and my mum admitted he's been before dropping off stuff and tried to ask questions about me, but they told him to F off. Yes, OP's parents, you tell him, the little turd. The flowers came with a card saying, "Dear Cassie, happy belated birthday. I've been thinking about you non-stop for the last few months, especially with how everything ended. I needed to get something off my chest that I fear will haunt me for the rest of my life if I don't tell you this to your face. But I've got no way of contacting you. If it's possible, can we meet up in the near future?" Go take a hike, Nate. A long one. Into the forest. Never return. Become one with the forest, will ya? Do everyone a favour. What could he want? What's haunting him that he needs to say to my face? Everyone in my life is telling me to ignore him, but they hate him. That's probably what it is. His poor little ego can't take the fact that, one, you've cut off his supply. A lot of blokes like this, and I think most women can say they've come across one at some point. Even if they don't want you, they need to know every last thing you're doing. So when you cut off their supply and don't allow them that access anymore, they go insane and try the weirdest ways to find access to you again, i.e. sending crap to your parents' house. And then when they find out that your family and friends hate them too, it annoys them even more because they know that their little veil of, "Oh, look how great of a guy I am," has been disturbed, and they don't like that. I'm torn, but I can't lie. My curiosity is telling me to meet him to see what he wants. Has anyone been in my shoes or in Nate's? Tell him to swing. He doesn't want anything good. He wants to come and ruin your life again. Don't go. Do not go. Some of OP's comments. Top comment, not gonna lie, I didn't read all that. I just wanted to say, just because he needs to say something doesn't mean you need to hear it. I doubt it's anything that would add any value to your life. He's likely wants to alleviate guilt for some long ago trespass. Precisely. He wants to make himself look like the good guy again. OP then replies, my cousin thinks he tried to monkey branch and it didn't work out. Editor's note, monkey branching means he was already emotionally connecting, at least, with someone else before breaking up with OP. Okay, I didn't get the reference until I read. That's such a good analogy. Because, yeah, swinging from branch to branch. Oh my God. Yeah, that's such a good analogy. But also, absolutely, yeah, very possible. Commenter, seems like he cheated on you back in December before the love bombing. Now, this dumbass cheater is probably engaged to the affair partner, hence the wife material comment. F him. Let him implode that relationship just like he imploded yours. He's not a good human. He's trying to make himself feel better about something. He doesn't deserve that. And he doesn't deserve your time or energy. Exactly. And also, OP just needs to not be putting their mental health back like 20 steps just for the sake of him getting some crap off his chest. Like, no. Sorry, Nate, that's your problem, love. That's your burden to bear. OP, you know what's pathetic? If he cheated and told me that that was the reason he was breaking up with me, I don't think it would have hurt me as much. I mean, yeah, because Nate literally just dogged on every aspect of OP's personality. So if she had just heard, oh, yeah, he's actually just a cheating scumbag, it wouldn't hurt as much as being told, oh yeah, I'm breaking up with you because you're a terrible person, terrible partner. I think you're a gold digger. You're absolutely crap. I hate everything about you. Of course it would hurt a lot less, I think. And then someone says, get checked for STDs. And then OP says, oh, I didn't think of that. Now I'm panicking. Yeah, absolutely. STD check. Go and do it. Do it yesterday. And then GDROM123 says, besides the STD test, which I agree with because I also suspect he was cheating, let your job know to turn him away if he shows up. The last thing you need is him stalking you. You don't owe him closure. He wants to absolve himself of guilt by dumping it onto you. It's not your burden to bear. Exactly. Just exactly what I just said. Whatever is torturing him is of his own doing. You have no idea how you'll handle whatever he wants to tell you. What if you slip back into despair? Are you willing to let your curiosity potentially expose you to further emotional trauma? Ultimately, it's up to you to meet up with him. Take some time to process all of this before deciding. And then someone says, is he blocked everywhere? OP replies, blocked on social media and my accounts are set to private. New number and his number is blocked and I deleted it. I didn't trust myself for the first few weeks because back in January, a "you up" text would have had me running barefoot at 2 a.m. Okay, I'm so glad you took the steps to prevent that. So then we have a mini update in the comments, April 9th, 2025, the next day. He came to my work today looking for me during lunchtime. I told the receptionist to say I was out and caught a ride home with a co-worker so I wouldn't meet him if he planned to run into me by accident. Smart thinking, absolutely, this is turning. I'm seeing where the stalker warning was in the trigger warnings. I see why that was there. Update post, April 14th, 2025, 5 days later, 6 days from the original post. So, we ended up meeting and no, I didn't go to him. I had told the receptionist at my work if he came looking for me to just say I was out for the day. After he showed up once, I didn't want the drama of him around my job. So Nate just kept going to my usual places like the grocery store I go every Saturday evening or the park I ran out on Sunday mornings. His words, till he would eventually run into me. This guy is a frigging creep. Man, what the hell? And he did. Yesterday, he was waiting at the coffee shop I go to after my morning run. When I saw him, I tried to turn around and leave, but he kept calling me. So I thought to myself, if everything went pear-shaped, a coffee shop would be safer than my walk home. That's where I would put in headphones, wait somewhere, let him talk to himself while I listen to the loudest music I possibly got, and then get in a taxi. Bye, Nate. So I just sat down and asked him what he wanted. He gave an apology that wasn't an apology. You know, the type with, I'm sorry, but, and pity me. Yeah, if your apology has a but, it's not an apology, mate. He blamed his mental health, his job, his parents, his friends, everyone but himself. Classic. I took someone's advice on here and said, cut the crap, I already know everything. He genuinely looked shocked and stared at me for a second. I guess he thought his co-worker already told me everything so he couldn't lie. Here's what really happened. He fell for a girl in his office. When he told me her name, I knew her immediately. I've met her a few times. He told me the last 2 years he idolized her. To be fair, she's beautiful with an amazing personality. personality. And he hated me because I was the one stopping him from being together, because his co-worker was too classy to be a side piece. Oh, this guy, oh my life, makes me mad. When he broke up with me, he confessed to her that he was madly in love with her, and he ended a 9-year relationship to be with her. And if she actually is a good person with a nice personality, then she would have gone, ew, get away from me, you absolute weirdo. Why would you do that, you horrible person? Well, here's where it gets funny. I read ahead a little bit and I'm now giggling. She doesn't even like him. Lol. She called him a piece of trash and told him if he ever spoke to her outside of work, she'd report him to HR. Them is your just desserts, Nate. So I asked him, what has any of this got to do with me? Like, we are over. I clearly cut ties. There's no reason for us to speak. He wants to try again. Promised me we'd get married before the year ends and that we belong together. I would rather... I'm not going to carry on with that analogy, actually. It might be a little bit too graphic for YouTube. I told him no, I'm nobody's second choice. He threw me away after 9 years and said some pretty cruel things to me, and now he thinks if he snaps his fingers, I'll come running back. He tried to beg and fake tears, bringing the good times in our relationships. I'd have just been really mean and said to him, you're really bad in bed, I can't do that again. I told him, please leave me alone, as he wasted too much of my time already. I texted my cousin to meet me at the coffee shop. He kept saying nonsense, even suggested if I went to couples counselling for a few months, he'd leave me alone. The 20 minutes it took for my cousin to arrive felt like 20 years. Oh, I can imagine. In the end, I just stopped listening and stood at the counter making small talk with baristas till my cousin arrived. She told him to F off, and if he tried to follow us, she'd call her brothers. I like your cousin. She sounds great. He stayed in the coffee shop as far as I know, and we just went home. That's it. It's only been a day, but it feels like it's over, and I'm free of him. Don't speak too soon. Don't speak too soon. People like this don't like being told no. Some of OP's comments. Commenter, you're being stalked. Change your routine. Yeah, absolutely. OP, yeah, I'm going to do this as I run at 6 a.m, so not a lot of people around. Get a treadmill at home. Just stop running outside. I would never go outside again. Gonna miss that coffee shop though. They made the best breakfast wraps, but I'm not taking any chances, and I'll go grocery shopping with my cousin. Commenter, you dodged a bullet. I hope your job has an opening in another city soon. Yeah, here. OP, me too. I've been talking to people on here and in real life, kind of a bit freaked out with the stories of how bad things can get. Hopefully he will just leave me alone. Yeah, I've told the story before about my ex that broke in through the exchange student's window in the house share I was living in when I binned him off. Oh, they don't like being told no. Editor's note, marked as concluded because OP met with her ex, which was the initial question. Editor's note 2, to reiterate, this has not been posted here before. This sub has a 7-day waiting period and that period has just passed. You may have seen it on the other sub with a similar name, in the wild or on looking for a post, which is on this sub. Well, that was a wild ride, wasn't it? But I'm very, very, very glad that OP told him to sling his hook. What a dirty little, gross little man. Like, imagine having the audacity to be like, oh yeah, so the woman that I binned you off for and was really cruel to you for said she doesn't actually want me, so let's get back together? Are you taking things? Like, no. And then Gwynezin quotes the OP, when he broke up with me, he confessed to her that he was madly in love with her and he ended a 9-year relationship to be with her. Well, here's where it gets funny. She doesn't even like him. She called him a piece of trash and told him if he ever spoke to her outside of work, she'd report him to HR. Hey, you know what? That is very funny. Oh, it is. That's just, that's absolutely just the most delicious thing I've seen today. And then Capstar300 says, X, I ended things with my girlfriend. We can be together. Co-worker. What's your name again? Honestly, to be a fly on the wall. That would have been so fun to watch. Okay, so I think that's us done for today. I don't know which was my most favourite part about this post. OP telling him to sling his hook, or the co-worker just be like, ew, get away from me, you creep. They were both very sweet. Very sweet moments. Anyway, I have a comment for you from one of the previous videos. This comment is from Gore. I can't say the second part of your username because I'll get slapped wrists and suppressed. So, and it also feels a little wrong calling you that. But you'll know who you are. I will put you on the screen anyway. So the comment was in reply to the first "Today I effed up," where the dad convinced the kid that they had a crack in their ass, basically, and not just an ass crack. And they say, "Oh no, on the topic of dads messing with the kids, I have a story. Maybe when I was 7 to 8, I had a food festival thing at school where parents would cook something from their culture to share with other parents and us kids. Everything was always so yummy, I miss it. One time, my friend took me, so I had no idea what I was eating half the day, but I ate good-ass pie. When I told my dad, he asked me if it was a dingleberry pie." I was creasing reading this. I was passionate about, yes, it was a dingleberry pie. It was so yummy. I'm so embarrassed. Oh, bless you, bless you. Oh, as soon as I read the dingleberry part, I was creasing. So yeah, I hope you don't mind me reading out your embarrassing story. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you leave a little like and subscribe, I'd appreciate you even more, and it helps you find your way back here for more of this madness. Other than that, whatever it is you're doing for the rest of the day, I hope you have a really good rest of your day. Goodbye.